The current system leaves much to the broad discretion of individual regulators and self-policing by often multinational mining companies with little to no tie to the communities that they actually extract the resources from. This can be for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and then the company will end up leaving the site often. Given the unique risks that modern large-scale commercial gold mining and processing pose to our environment, we believe that we need to update our regulations before we issue permits and mining starts in Virginia, not after we've already begun to issue some permits. Without the moratorium, the knowledge gained from this study risks being learned after harm is done to vulnerable communities rather than harnessed on the front end to allow us to move forward with a deliberate and intentional manner before those permits are issued. The first thing to understand here is that mining gold is not like mining granite or gravel, and it's not like the gold mining you think when you think the 1849 California gold rush. Modern gold mining has to move 20 tons of earth to yield 1 ounce of gold, about the size of a small wedding band. You have to pulverize it, then you have to give it a bath in cyanide solution to actually separate the gold from the sediment. Once you've extracted the gold, then you have to do something with those 20 tons of cyanide tainted earth, which also harbor dozens of other heavy metals and toxins. So you store them in a wet slurry behind lined earthen dams or giant mounds. For those who are getting flashbacks to some of the issues surrounding coal ash storage and treatment sites in the General Assembly, you're not alone, and you're beginning to understand some of our concerns here. Like coal ash, there's also the risk that these containment dams can fail, like they did at the Brewer gold mine in South Carolina in 1990, where 10 million gallons were sent into the Lynch's River, which ended up killing fish all the way 50 miles downstream. Strike two for this site came during cleanup, where acid mine drainage was discovered. A waste treatment facility had to be built, but after a few years, the mining company left. They turned the keys over to South Carolina, and now the government and the taxpayers are responsible for this EPA Superfund site. There's also the risk that gold stops trading at the high value that it is trading today, and a company leaves or goes bankrupt, like what happened at the Brewer gold mine in South Carolina, where they mined for 5 years, they cleaned up as required for 4, but then again, they turned the keys over to South Carolina and the EPA, and the site remains a Superfund site today. You know, really, our concern is that whether it's for 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years, gold mines come in, they take what they need, and then they leave Virginia's communities behind to clean up the mess. That's why we're looking for sufficient regulations to make sure that we can cover these long-term risks and costs, as well as the potential for risks to air quality and water quality that come with the large-scale mining of gold and the on-site processing of that gold. The last time Virginia did any gold mining to speak of was in the 1940s. The last time that Virginia had widespread gold mining, it was the 1840s. And Virginia's mining regulations consist of basically coal mining, because we have a long history with coal mining, and everything else, from granite to gold, which is under an umbrella called mineral mining. Despite gold mining containing specific environmental risks that go beyond the other types of mining, and which is why we're bringing this specific legislation to deal with this specific type of mining.